Core of Jesus' preaching is the kingdom of God, and the difficulty for us is to hear that term as 100% political and 100% religious, not one, not the other. In the first century, those were inextricably intertwined. The kingdom, if you use that expression in the first century, meant the Roman kingdom. It meant the Roman Empire. When you talked about the kingdom of God and were somehow setting it up in some tension with the Roman Empire, you were making a very caustic criticism of the Roman Empire, and you were saying that its system was not the system of God.
The Jewish historian Josephus tells us a number of stories about characters whose career could be crudely summarized as following. Some guy wakes up in the morning and he thinks he's the Messiah or something, or he's a prophet, and he says, he gets a group of people to follow him. He says, we're going to go out in the desert and we're going to wait for God to do something for us. So a whole bunch of people may go with him, maybe thousands, go with him out to this deserted, unsecured place, and they wait for what Josephus calls the tokens of their deliverance. And the Romans send a vicious police action out there and kill everybody. When that kind of police action is perpetrated against what we might consider harmless fanatics, the Romans are really giving us a very good historical lesson in how domination works.
All the time that Jesus is talking, I cannot not imagine the fact that he's going to be put to death. Everything that he is doing is politically dangerous. If you are following Jesus' life from day to day, you should be saying to yourself, somebody is going to kill this man.
After he had said this, he went on ahead, going up to Jerusalem.
Moving to Jerusalem, Jesus was moving from the territory ruled by Herod Antipas to the territory ruled directly by Rome through a prefect, Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate was the governor from 26 to 36. And so that places us very clearly within the early period of Roman rule. These are some of our most important and clearest dates for the activities of Jesus' life. When Jesus actually died, we're not absolutely sure. Some people would say as early as maybe 27, maybe some others as late as 33. But we do know it's under Pilate.
Pontius Pilatus, Praefectus Judaeae. Pontius Pilate, Governor of Judea.
And we know of him as an effective and a fairly ruthless administrator of his territory, the area of Judea. And there are several episodes recorded by Josephus where eschatological prophets emerge, and Pilate has no hesitation in eliminating them or in suppressing episodes of potential conflict or revolt within that territory.
People from all over the empire went to Jerusalem on Passover. It's one of the most populated times in the whole city. It's a madhouse. There were extra animals being brought up, sheep, because of the Passover holiday. There were pilgrims coming in from everywhere. And Jesus comes up to town, too. He could have stayed home and had Passover in the Galilee, but he didn't. He's up in Jerusalem because this is important. Pilate would get nervous when there were crowds of Jews, and of course he was legally responsible to be up in Jerusalem when it was the most crowded of all. He would leave this very nice, plush seaside town in Caesarea, which was, a nice pagan city, plenty of pagan altars, all the stuff he wanted, and have to go up to Jerusalem, where where all these Jews were congregating and stay there for crowd control until the holiday was over. He was in a bad mood already by the time he got to town, and Passover would fray anybody's nerves.
If you were a pilgrim coming to Jerusalem in these days, you would walk through the streets of this magnificent city. As you approach the Temple Mount, you come up to this massive, monumental complex that we call the Temple. And there are grand staircases up which one can go and get up to the top. And you come out up on top of the platform in the outer precincts of the temple complex. The soldiers that were garrisoned in Jerusalem would have been stationed in the nearby fortress called the Antonia, which literally stands adjacent to the temple complex and kind of looks over it. They could keep an eye on things there. And of course, everyone in the temple knew they were there too.
Particularly at Passover, which is a holiday that vibrates with this incredible historical memory of national creation and freedom. And the Roman soldiers standing along the colonnade of the temple looking down at Jews celebrating this. So it's a politically and religiously electric holiday.
Then Jesus entered the temple and drove out all who were selling and buying in the temple. And he overturned the tables of the money changers